He needs money.
You think he needs money?
Absolutely.
He's always flossy.
It's absolutely, he needs money.
You think he's going
Once
broke?
again, come on. Fighters like that always go broke.
He's always spending, so I guess.
Absolutely, look.
I'm not here to judge anyone. We all live, we all learn, we all make mistakes. There's no one that's perfect. Jonah is my friend. He's a person that I love. He's a person that I will stand behind through the good, the bad, and the ugly. Whatever his case was, he dealt with it like a man, and we're going to continue to do business.
Jonah is also facing multiple lawsuits related to the luxury jewelry business.
Okay.
He opened in LA after the guilty plea in New York.
Yes.
Investors and lenders claim that Jonah defrauded them and stole from them.
Okay.
You promoted jewelry for Jadel. Did those lawsuits surprise you?
I will always love Jonah. I trust Jonah, not just 10%, 20%, 100%. I'm not perfect.
And that's why you got 100% of your money stolen and 100% of your jet stolen, buddy. Oh my Lord, you can't make.
We're talking about accusations involving fake investments, unauthorized wire transfers, missing jewelry, and even Floyd's own private jet somehow disappearing into paperwork chaos.
Sid caught wind of this and said, "Hey, congratulations, champ. Beautiful baby girl. F the other bull-ish." And that was with the first news. Then he came out after that and said, "Hey, champ, call my phone. We will get that back right quick. It's a good thing you bought all them buildings in NY." And clearly with that response right there, 50 Cent is clearly being sarcastic because he was mocking that and saying that's not what people thought it was. Well, 50 Cent was always questioning, going up to the internet saying, man, Floyd don't know what he talking about. Floyd getting finessed and duped. And now this is just one storyline right here. What they are saying from what Floyd put in this lawsuit, they have finessed them. They have played them. They came with false representation. Floyd had even went up to the internet yesterday and called his partner, the guy that he put his trust in, a rat, a snake, a liar, and a thief.
Floyd Mayweather getting allegedly scammed by Jonah Renit might be one of the wildest financial stories boxing has seen in years. Because we're not talking about losing a watch or missing a payment here. We're talking about accusations involving fake investments, unauthorized wire transfers, missing jewelry, and even Floyd's own private jet somehow disappearing into paperwork chaos.
The suit also claims Mayweather signed a bill of sale for his 1996 Gulfstream 4 jet at Retness's direction without no purchaser listed. Mayweather alleges that he does not know who bought the aircraft and that the money from the sale was used for a Bugatti-related obligation and otherwise diverted to Frisk Apex with no money given to Mayweather. Frisk allegedly represented himself as a manager of Vada Properties, Mayweather's real estate investment firm, without being appointed. The suit claims that he never held such an office and that Frisk signing documents as a manager was a misrepresentation of office. Vada's website at one point listed Frisk as the CEO. The suit alleges that Frisk was never appointed Vada's CEO by Mayweather. It goes on to say that Floyd is a defendant in several other lawsuits alleging money.
According to the lawsuit mentioned in the transcript, Floyd claims Ricknet spent years building trust before becoming deeply involved in handling his finances, real estate dealings, and business operations. And now Floyd is suing for massive damages after allegedly losing tens of millions in the process. Mayweather is suing and is saying that he got scammed and tricked into signing documents that resulted in him losing a ton of money. So Mayweather just filed a $175 million lawsuit claiming that he essentially got scammed by a former close associate. Now, according to the report first published by TMZ following Mayweather's new baby mama scandal, Floyd is saying that his go-to person, the guy that handles all his finances, has spent years gaining his trust only for this person to betray him. From Mayweather's jewelries all the way to the fact that, according to Floyd, he got tricked into unknowingly signing the paperwork that made him lose his private jet, in which once again, according to Mayweather, he did not know he was signing a transfer of ownership. The craziest part, Floyd himself was publicly defending Ricknet not long ago, saying he trusted him 100% even while reports and lawsuits surrounding Ricknet were already floating around. That's the part that really makes the story feel unreal. Because when you hear allegations about somebody unknowingly signing paperwork connected to ownership transfers on a private jet, fans immediately start looking at the situation sideways. Then on top of all that financial drama, Floyd is also reportedly dealing with a major child support ruling after being legally declared the father of a 4-year-old daughter earlier this year. So, for context, the first one is that Mayweather got one of his former employees pregnant. Floyd's new baby mama was a dancer at the Las Vegas club that Mayweather owns. When things were taken in front of the judge, Mayweather was ordered to take a DNA test twice. However, Mayweather refused to do so, thus resulting in Mayweather essentially losing the case by default. Now, after Mayweather was declared a father, he was ordered to pay almost $1 million in back support in addition to almost $33,000 per month for child support and to the kid, who's now 4 years old, turns 18, which won't be until the year 2040. According to the transcript, the court ordered him to pay back child support along with monthly payments moving forward, adding even more pressure onto an already messy financial situation. And honestly, that's why this whole thing has the boxing world talking. Because for years, Floyd built his entire image around wealth, control, luxury, and being smarter than the game itself. Now, suddenly, the headlines aren't about undefeated records or billion-dollar talk anymore. They're about lawsuits, missing money, legal battles, and questions surrounding how one of his richest stars allegedly trusted the wrong people at the worst possible.
About 100 cars, but right here, we like to call this the Sweet 16. Lambo, Ferrari, Maybach, a Maybach, whatever you want to call it. The Maybach truck or Maybach truck, whatever you want to call it. I got options. I don't know what I want to take out tonight. This. I'm gonna hit the girl collection. I'll see you guys.
And honestly, that whole Floyd situation slides perfectly into what Bill Haney starts talking about here. Because once the headlines stop being about undefeated records and start turning into lawsuits, taxes, child support, and people allegedly running off with your money, suddenly the conversation changes from how rich is the fighter to who's actually protecting the fighter. And Bill came into this discussion sounding less like a guy gossiping about Floyd and more like somebody throwing a warning label onto the entire sport. Because he's basically saying the real fight for a lot of boxers starts after the paychecks hit. One bad circle around you, one fake friend, one lifestyle addiction to attention and image, and suddenly your income starts evaporating faster than a jab in a Roy Jones highlight reel. Then Bill starts talking about fighters giving too much away, trying to maintain an image. And you can tell he's speaking from a totally different mentality. He's looking at boxing like survival mixed with business, not just fame.
That was one of the things that I spoke with Floyd about, being an example of blowing the dough. For the kids to have that as, and then it's one of those marketing tactics, I believe, that you're going to spend the money, show that you can spend the money. Secretly, you're making a whole lot, but you're creating an image for kids to follow that's not necessarily conducive to financial.
And honestly, that line about fighters putting their lives on the line while secretly ending up broken later, that part hit hard in the flashy money talk, because boxing glamorizes the watches, the cars, the women, the jewelry. But nobody posts the quiet moments where fighters realize the taxes still exist, the bills still exist, and everybody who smiled around you during the $1 million nights suddenly disappears when the lights cool off. Then Bill flips the conversation again, talking about culture, dignity, family structure, discipline, all while casually hinting that social media algorithms reward chaos more than wisdom. And man, that's the realest part of this whole thing. Because nowadays, a fighter can go viral for drama faster than they can for footwork. One scandal gets more clicks than 10 title defenses. That's the game now. But underneath all the back and forth, Bill keeps circling back to one point. Protect the fighter outside the ring the same way you protect him inside it, because getting hit by left hooks is dangerous. But getting surrounded by the wrong people after success might be even worse.
Who put their life on the line, who then have to go home short while you give to women, right? In front of the guys, I didn't think that was necessarily cool. When your kids aren't When your kids are doing things that they shouldn't do for money because you don't give them the money that you give to women.
And honestly, the second Bill Haney started talking about fighters getting surrounded by the wrong people after success, the Floyd Mayweather situation suddenly stopped feeling like celebrity gossip and started feeling like one giant cautionary tale wrapped in designer jewelry and lawsuit paperwork. Because now Wade Plemons jumps in, and the whole thing sounds less like Money Mayweather and more like a Netflix crime documentary called How to Lose a Private Jet Without Realizing It. And I'm sorry, but the image of Floyd allegedly signing away ownership of a jet with a buyer's section left blank is one of the wildest boxing stories I've heard in years. That's not even bad business anymore. That's trusting people at a level usually reserved for Disney movies and golden retrievers. Wade keeps circling back to Jonah Renit, allegedly handling everything, the jewelry, investments, real estate, bank accounts. And the scary part is Floyd publicly defended this man like he was family. That's where success gets dangerous. Fighters spend years learning how to dodge punches, but nobody teaches them how to dodge fake friends carrying spreadsheets and business cards.
Doesn't stop there. He says unknowingly, he unknowingly signed paperwork transferring ownership of his Gulfstream jet with the buyer section left blank, and says he doesn't know where the aircraft money went. I don't have words for how stupid you have to be to see a contract of some sort to sell your jet for, I assume Floyd didn't even know the amount of money, to nobody. And before anyone that's on the receiving end puts a number and puts a name on their side of things, I am paying X amount of dollars for a private airplane.
Then you add the child support situation on top of it, the reported legal rulings, the lawsuits, the gambling talk, the tax issues, and suddenly the undefeated genius inside the ring starts looking completely vulnerable outside of it. And that contrast is crazy to me. We're talking about one of the smartest fighters to ever lace up gloves, a man who built an entire career off discipline, timing, patience, and risk management, allegedly getting caught in situations that sound like somebody clicked every suspicious pop-up ad on the internet at once. But underneath all the jokes and chaos, there's actually a bigger conversation here about athletes and financial literacy, because boxing money moves fast. And if your inner circle gets bigger than your accountability, disaster usually isn't far behind. Floyd spent years telling the world he was money. And now the internet's looking at these headlines like the sequel got rewritten by a scam artist with access to Do-kyun. That's brutal. But it also shows how dangerous fame becomes when trust turns blind and nobody around you is allowed to say, hold on, maybe don't sign that.
Has been told he is going to have to pay $1 million in back child support and $33K a month after knocking up a stripper. Mayweather, 49, was legally declared the father of a 4-year-old girl in March of 2026, with the judge writing the court finds Floyd Mayweather Jr. is the father of Price Moorhead. There's no way that this stripper named her daughter Price because she was about to put a price on Floyd Mayweather. That's crazy.
And honestly, right when Wade Plemons was painting Floyd Mayweather's financial situation like some luxury version survival movie where the villain is blind trust mixed with endless spending, now fan and boxing jumps in and takes it even further by basically saying, Tank tried to warn y'all this was coming. That's the part that really changes the energy here, because suddenly this whole situation stops feeling like random bad luck and starts sounding like years of bad habits finally cashing in their receipt. Van Non keeps circling back to Floyd allegedly getting cleaned out for $175 million, the jewelry drama, the missing investment money, even the private jet situation. And I'm sitting there thinking, this doesn't even sound real anymore. How do you allegedly sign over a Gulfstream with the buyer's section blank? That's not business at that point. That's trusting people like you're handing somebody your car keys while blindfolded and hoping destiny handles the paperwork. And the craziest thing, Floyd spent decades mastering risk inside the ring. This man could read distance, timing, traps, opponents, everything. But outside the ropes, it feels like he kept mistaking expensive lifestyles for permanent security.
Much better if you're an individual person to just stay small. Just stay small, stay a little, you don't have to have 35 Rolls Royces. You don't need 35 Rolls Royces. You don't need an $18 million watch. The idea, now this is the crazy thing that in this particular note about the jewelry. If you buy $100 million worth of jewelry, do not be surprised if you can only get $13 million back.
Fannon's point about Floyd wanting to look larger than life actually hit harder than the jokes. Because boxing history is full of fighters who became addicted to the image of success more than protecting the success itself. The jets, the watches, the diamond chains, the money brand, all that looked untouchable from the outside. Meanwhile, according to these allegations, people around him were allegedly running financial fast breaks behind the scenes like it was Game 7 of the NBA Finals. And then you add Gervin Davis in the conversation, because Tank has hinted before that Floyd's circle and spending habits weren't exactly stable. And now fans are replaying those old comments like detectives reopening a cold case. But here's the wild part. Even with all this chaos, lawsuit, and headlines, Floyd's legacy inside the ring still stands untouched. That's what makes this story feel so strange. One of the greatest offensive fighters ever might have had absolutely no defense against the people handling his money. And boxing fans are watching this whole thing like, wait, are we witnessing the cost of fame in real time? Because sometimes the punches that hurt fighters the most don't come from opponents. They come from the people sitting closest to them at the table.
They give you these big presents and you go on these ridiculous shopping sprees and they're draining you the whole time. But anyway, man, hey, man, I wish the best for Floyd. Gervonta Davis was telling us back then that they didn't let him out of the UAE because they were like, nah, you gotta pay up. You gotta pay up for this jewelry that you're buying. Man, that is just a serious addiction this guy has, man. He has an addiction to fame, an addiction to money, an addiction to bling, an addiction. You gotta let that go, man. Get you a nice little, regular Ansel, ring, man, worth, pay $50, $60 for it.